Hi, good morning. Adam Smith, he is one of the greatest economists in the modern world, and many economists in the present day, uh, they have to study his work. Particularly, one of the well-known book that Adam Smith wrote is "The Wealth of the Nations." Adam Smith, he is the Scottish people. So one thing that he mentions in the Well of the Nations, the book which is very well known, and the one that he wrote, he said about invisible hand. Invisible hand is mean it is a free market mechanism. So how it works? What invisible hand work is every people in the world have their own interest. Okay, and not only individual but the company, they all have their own interest. So when people have their own interest, they will allocate the resources to make sure that they will gain their interest. So that is Adam Smith said that is the invisible hand, or another word is a free market mechanism which is move the economy, which is moving economy around. For example, I will give the example from the bottom. For example, you new graduates from from another province, the place that you it doesn't have a lot of job for you, so you travel to Bangkok looking for a job, and when you start to travel to Bangkok, you need to buy the air ticket, you need to buy the bus ticket, you need to pay for transportation, something for choice. And also, when you got there to Bangkok, you need to pay for room rental, and you need to pay for food, and so on and so on, consumer product. So all of the things that I have been talking about uh, is this invisible hand, because when you start to take off to go to Bangkok, you allocate your resource, and the purpose to allocate your resource, the resource, what do I mean, is the money that you spend, the time that you spend to gain your own interest, or it means, let's say it easy, to achieve your goal, to get a job, this is your own interest. And then um, the company they allocate their resource is starting from the workforce, material that they buy from the supplier, and the machines, and also transportation. If the company produce a good and service, so what it will be concerns is factory. Okay, what is it inside factory? Electricity, water, workforce, and also machine. And also the maintenance that will come to the machine. And also the supplier, the material or the ingredient, whatever that you need, whatever that the company need to buy to get to make it happen, because they want to achieve their own interest. So this is the invisible hand, or the free market mechanism, or is this the way that individual and company allocate their resources, is to make sure that they will be able to make their interests become reality. So let's say about the I would like I just heard from the news that the government is going to raise the price of electricity per unit from 4.7 something to 5.2 per unit. But I think the decisions is didn't made yet. But I think it's had possibility that we need to pay we need to pay more expensive. We need to pay for electricity more than we used to pay before. So so I believe about the rising price of electricity over here. And then what I would like to talk about is that something I never ever understand it when everything is when I mean the cost of business, the cost of doing business, the cost of running business for each company around the world, when those costs, for example the price of material, the price of transportation, when those things is more expensive, I didn't understand why the company or the entrepreneur need to put responsibility to the customer. What do I mean by that is, for example, you you sell one pair of shoe at 150 baht, and then the material, the plastic material, or even the rubber is the price of rubber is increased, and then you increase the price to 180 or even 200. So I didn't understand why the company need to have to put that the extra price, right, to the customer to take responsibility. They are supposed to buy a pair of shoes at 150, at least for a period of time. They are not supposed to be the person who need to pay more money. I don't understand the economist theory, but this is something I don't really understand. For example, I would like to say that you have your business, and your business is established for 20 years, and during the 20 years you continually running your business, and you earn the revenue and profits. I understand for some entrepreneur or businessmen, they will mobilize the benefit from one company to the other company, or to invest more to build the new company. Okay, I don't talk about that. I believe that in the past 25 years of any company, they made a lot of profit, money in their pocket, in their bank account, and then one day the price of the crude oil is rising, and they says, oh my god, I cannot sell my product at this price, at one I cannot sell my a pair of shoes at 150 anymore. I need to raise the price to be 180 or even 200. So the question back is, why don't you take responsibility for the extra, for the money that why the entrepreneur or businessman don't take responsibility for the number of money that is added more to the price of the product? Why? I didn't understand why every time is customer. Because in the past 25 years, you make lots of profits, and you have money, Why you just can't hold for a few months, for month, for few months? Why you cannot hold? And also, one thing, the economic is something that we are able to forecast. We are able to foresee. There are a lot of informations from analysis from banker, from World Bank, from central bank, from private bank, and also from economists that you know they predict what is going to happen with the economy in the future. So if you see the positive side, the positive side that the crude oil will bring down again. So why don't you hold the price for few months? Why don't you spend your own money, the money that you have made a lot in the past 25 years, to take responsibility for the price of the pair of shoe that's already increased. you know you sell, okay, the after the crude oil, the price of the crude oil is increased, so the cost of doing business is increased. So the price is supposed to be 180 for a pair of shoe, but you sell to the customer at the same price at only 150 baht for a pair of shoe, and then the other 30 baht is you take responsibility from them. You spend your money to subsidize your company. So I think it should be the time that the entrepreneur or the businessman to take responsibility for whatever happened to the economic situation, to the economic recessions. They need to help to support the community, the people in the country, because they make a lot of money from people. So why you just pay a little bit more back from the profit that you had, if you made a lot from before? I know that when I speak like this, many businessmen think that I am an idiot, or I am a fool, or maybe I am a selfish man. Yeah, maybe, but like I tell you, I just don't understand why the consumer, the customer, consumer need to take responsibility for everything that for the price of goods and service that is higher. Why? And also the customer is the one who paying 7% tax every time that they buy your product. They buy a pair of shoes, and that tax will go to the government, and that money that already go to the government will become in the form of budgets that distribute among the different ministry, or different department that's under each ministry again, and it will be spread around the country and spend on basic infrastructure, which is not good enough. So my point, I think it is the time that business organizations, company, businessmen, entrepreneurs need to take responsibility instead of let the consumer take responsibility to pay more. Okay, you hold the price for few months. If you cannot hold anymore, we understand. So you are able to increase the price. Okay, you are able to sell your product at the price you think that this is fair for you, and also the customer, they can't say anything, of course, even they don't accept. And you know why? One of the reasons is the productions company, when they raise the price of their product and they sell their product higher than normal before, and You know why they are able to do that? Because they know exactly that the consumer, they have no choice. They cannot make a piece of soap. They cannot make a bottles of shampoo. They cannot make a toothbrush or a toothpaste. The consumer need to depend. In fact, everyone. In fact, most of the ordinary people or the consumer, most of them, they cannot make anything that they are able to use it. You know, they they cannot make necessary thing that will be used in the daily basic, like I told you before. So the company know, and the consumer know that they cannot avoid, because it doesn't matter how expensive it is, but the consumer need to buy, you know need to buy a toothpaste anyway. But what they can do it, they just apply very little of toothpaste every time that they brush their teeth. So that's why company is able to increase the price, because the customer have no choices. Okay, and then and then even the state-owned company, the state-owned company, for example, the state-owned company is one of the company that we clearly see is PTT station. I mean PTT. PTT is a state-owned company. 51% it hold. 51% of the stock of PTT is held by Ministry of Treasury. So where that the money come from? Where that the Ministry of Treasury spend 51% of money on PTT? It come from tax, come from income tax, come from 7% tax that whenever you buy something, it's come from us. But I still don't understand why the state-owned company, or even the electricity company, I mean, they are state-owned company as well. I don't believe that it belong 100% to the private company. If it's so, I think the government is so idiot, and I just say because it's impossible. So why the government cannot interfere, cannot hold the price as long as you could, okay. State-owned company is sometimes PTT stations is PTT company is a company that half of them, or not even half of the company, owned by the private company or private sector, and more than of the half, mostly will hold by the government. I understand about it. PTT need to make profits for the stakeholder, but according to what we know, a person or the organization who hold the majority of the stock in the company, they have they have power over the other stockholder. They are the one who make decisions, and particularly the one who I said is the government. So I didn't understand why the government cannot hold. The government need to hold. You are able to allocate money from somewhere else in the country, somewhere that is not necessary right now, to subsidize the price of the oil and the price of electricity, or even the price of the water, basic infrastructure, for whatever. Okay, you mobilize them, allocate them to the right place, particularly in in the critical economic situation in a country like that, why you need to put responsibility to your citizens, to the public, to your population. It doesn't seem fair because the populations already pay tax, not only one form of tax, but more than a few tax. Income tax and 7% of tax that every time that they went to the convenience store, they have to pay at least 2 times of tax. And this is lots of money, calculate from, the number of the whole populations in the country. Use the money that you get from the government, you get from the people wisely. I believe that most of the money that stay with the government, most of them coming from 95% coming from citizen. Or maybe you say that, okay, we have the factory that we produce the white whiskey, the one that tastes terrible. And you know what, Thai white whiskey, I'm not sure how to say that, but this is the cheapest one in the market. They sell this, government sell white whiskey made from rice. I think made from jasmine rice. They sell more than the other liquor brand in the country, and they make more revenue. Okay, if for example, and also the lottery, if the customer say we make money from selling the cigarette, selling the liquor, selling the lottery. So don't forget that the money that you use to process, to run your business is coming from us, not coming from you. Originally, at least. Originally, it's coming from us. So, me, I am one of the citizens. When I see the situation, the government is going to put responsibility to the ordinary people. Just after the pandemic, the whole picture of the economy didn't get better yet. So why you have to do that? Things need to change. The regulator, lawmaker, you need to think, in the opposite way. When the cost of business is high, you need to put down new regulations to make sure that primarily the company who produce the goods and service, they need to take responsibility first when they want to increase the price. When the cost of running business is higher, and it will force them to increase the price, right, and sell the same product but with a higher price to the customer. New regulation is company need to take responsibility first, need to spend their money to subsidiary, the extra money that had been added to, need to subsidiary their own company. Okay, and you still able to sell the product at the same price to the customer until the second regulation. This is the time for the people who sitting in the Senate, who sitting in the parliamentary. This is a time for the economic in the university, for all of the economists, and also the central bank. You need to start to think about it. I think it's possible. It's possible. You know why? Government, multi-billions company, and also the businessmen. You are too close to each other. You don't close to your population, so you never feel that how the population or the citizens feel, but you feel how the company feeling, how the bank feeling. You feel because you are close to them. I don't want to say that you are friend, but don't forget the ordinary people, you know, they are the biggest group of people in the country, and the country depend on them. If the country want to grow, want to, you know, if the government want to grow economic more, want to make sure that we will become, we will become richer and richer in the future, we will be a successful country in terms of GDP per capita, in terms of technology, in terms of education, pharmaceutical, industry, logistics, whatever. You need the population. The rich people, they can't do anything for you. But ordinary people, someone somewhere else who is able to be the next Elon Musk. You know, right? You know where does the Elon Musk come from, right? You know where does the Mark Zuckerberg come from, right? You know the second richest man in India, where that is come from, right? You know the chairman and CEO of Microsoft, where does he come from, right? So I believe that the same scenario will happen within amongst the ordinary people, and they will be the one that who will put the country forward. So let's do something new, do something opposite. Start to act like a person who has responsibility over the country. Thank you very much.